I looked around and I'm like, oh snap, I don't know a single soul here. I made eye contact with Rebecca. I walked over, congratulated her for this amazing show. And then I made a beeline. I was like, I'm out of here. Do you understand how much money you just left on the table? If you're an introvert, there is nothing I'm going to tell you in this video that's about like, oh, I need you to like up your charisma or, you know, like, I don't know, get a facelift. I don't know. All of the things that people typically tell you. I'm not here to tell you that. You don't have a personality problem. What you actually have is you do not have a strategy and you don't understand that this thing, the networking thing, it is a skill and it is a learnable skill. And in this video, I'm going to teach you exactly what you can start doing to become the kind of person who initiates getting to know strangers, even when it makes you uncomfortable and you're sweating bullets. And if you're the kind of person who's just like me and you're cool with strangers, I promise you, I'm going to drop nuggets that are useful to you, even as an extrovert. Let's start with the first one, listening, okay? Listening is probably the hardest thing for any human being to do because why? We love the sound of our own voice. And I'm not saying everybody is a narcissist, but I'm just saying when people are talking about themselves, in their brain, it's actually releasing happy drugs. Use that to your advantage. Become the kind of person when you're in conversation, especially with strangers, where you get curious and you ask them open-ended questions that put you in the driver's seat of being more of the listener. And I want you to think about one question that you can ask that has nothing to do with their title, their role, none of that. Ask them something about their name. Oh, I noticed your name is Mahohodi. Wow, that's a very fascinating name. I bet you it has an amazing story. What is the origin story of your name? Asking anybody, even Mary, about the origin name of their story, I'm telling you, it is a connection point. And if it is a really common name like Mary or Kate, you can say something genuinely, like one of my BFFs is actually named Kate. I love that name. What's the origin story of your Kate? Are you a Catherine or is it Katie? Ask them to speak about themselves. Before you walk into any room, know your aim. Who are you here for and why? I need you to be really crystal clear. And when the stakes are super high, if you're going to something that is the premier event for your industry, or maybe you're invited to a conference and it's a convening of all kinds of people who could be your future clients, you really need to do the homework before you even enter the room. You need to understand exactly who do you need to connect with, why are you connecting with them? Like, what are you driving that relationship and that conversation towards? And what are the things that you actually have in common with those people? Know those things, and if it helps you, put it on a card before you actually even walk into the room. If you can hear my dog barking crazy, like, I got it down. I don't know what to tell you. She's really cute. Maybe I could tell you that part. So let me tell you about that one time I made like such a rookie mistake. It was just after the pandemic. Actually, like, you know that weird phase when we were kind of meeting, but we didn't know if we were allowed to actually be together as human beings in one room? Yeah, it was that stage. And I was invited to the New York Fashion Week show for Rebecca Minkoff, by actually Rebecca Minkoff herself. Like, kind of a big deal, okay? And also, the people who were in the room, oh my, like girl, I was just clutching my pearl all day. Like, obviously the fashion, what? But then also a room full of potential clients, a room full of exactly the kind of baddies whose work, intellectual property, I am so excited to support as somebody who is a keynote coach, as somebody who does this kind of work, working with clients to make them shine when they get on the stage. How many cars do you think I actually walked away with that day? And that's the thing, right? Like, networking is not about how many cards can you walk away with, but it's actually about meaningful relationships. I walked into that room. First of all, I looked cute because, you know, the tea. I looked around and I'm like, oh snap, I don't know a single soul here. I made eye contact with Rebecca. I walked over, congratulated her for this amazing show. It was really cool. I gave her a hug. I said something that was like a little bit of chit chat and built that relationship. And then I made a beeline. I was like, I'm out of here. And that was truly my loss. And it is exactly why I know even extroverts, even people who are really strategic and know how to work a room, we get this wrong. And the lesson here, the takeaway, is the importance of understanding even before you walk into a room, who's going to be there, why do you want to connect with them, and how can you begin either in the moment finding common ground with them, or you've done your research and you know exactly how these people and you are linked. Or if you can't do the homework, it's not like Rebecca was going to share with me, here's exactly who's on my guest list. You can do that in real time as you're speaking to people. You can make that the question that you ask. How do you start a conversation when you don't know anybody in the room? Don't wait for somebody else to initiate the conversation. How do you become the person who is that igniter, right? Who starts conversations, who is the catalyst? One of the things that you can do is actually stand in the room and take stock and look around for who else looks like they are searching, who else looks like they don't know anybody else in the room. Approach that person and offer something. Ask them about who they are, again, not in a way where you're asking them what do you do or your title, but maybe you make an observation. Maybe they're wearing something that is really attractive, like sequins, and actually maybe the sequins are making an interesting sound and you can say something about that. Don't try to be clever, don't try to overdo it, just be genuine. Maybe they have earrings on and you really love those particular earrings. Offer them a compliment and make sure that is an authentic compliment. Maybe you see that they don't have a drink in their hand. Offer them a drink, and it doesn't have to be alcohol. Can I go and get you a bottle of water? I'm actually going to the bar right now. Do you see how in that moment you have turned your looking around and doing this and feeling a little bit lost, and you've turned that into something generous for somebody else? Let me tell you a story. Recently, I was at an event and it was a big mixer, and I noticed that there was a bunch of people who were doing exactly this kind of thing of like, oh, it wasn't my event, by the way, right? And I stood by the door and all I did was just make sure that those people were welcomed. Standing at the door and greeting people and making them feel welcomed as they come in. By the way, this is not something that you need to be assigned to. You can self-assign to that. And let me tell you, that was such a game changer for me. I met so many people at this event who remembered me as the first person that they met who was welcoming when they came in the door. You can do that. There's no reason why that's something that is out of reach for you. And it doesn't take any specific kind of personality. What it takes is you standing somewhere close towards the door, and when people come in, if they look a little bit lost or they look like they could use a friendly face, smiling and saying, hi, are you looking for such and such a place? Yes, this is it. And then leading with something like I said, an observation, a genuine compliment, or maybe you know something about them, right? Like if it's one of these events where you got pictures of all of the people before, you're like, oh my God, I recognize you. You're based in Miami, right? And then boom, you've already initiated the conversation and they're so relieved and grateful to you because they're like, oh, thank goodness, a friendly face, a place to land that's safe as I come in here. Or you could even do the thing of like, are you looking for such and such a person, whoever the host is? She's over there and she's really busy right now, but if you tell me a little bit about your interests and what you're up to, I know a couple of people here and I'd be happy to introduce you. Do you see what you just did there? Do you see what you just did there? You turned something that felt like the biggest anxiety that so many human beings have, social anxiety, you turned it into a point of generosity. They're going to remember you. Okay, a quick little recap just to make sure we're on the same page. There's 2 powerhouse things you walk into every room knowing how to use. Number 1, it is an empathetic line, okay? This is where you offer something that is either a compliment, it has to be genuine, remember that, or an observation about maybe something that's happening in real time in the room, or it's common ground. Maybe you've done your research and you already know you and this person went to the same primary school, or you and this person maybe just came from the same hotel or something like that, right? And number two, after you have authored something that is an empathetic, like I see you line, then it is your opportunity to get into the listening seat and to initiate conversation. And the way that you do that is you ask an open-ended question that gets them to be in the position of talking, and you're in the wheelhouse of listening. And don't ask them something that is about what do they do, because everybody is asking that, and it's also just not a way to be memorable. You want to ask about something that makes you stand out a little bit and get to know them in a real way. Like, think about this as this is another human being and you're essentially on a date. The best way to think about questions that work really well are, if you are on a date with this person, what's a question that you could ask that's not about like, oh, am I suddenly on a job interview right now? Or, oh, is this person trying to like get to know me in a way that is past the stage where I am? Like, I couldn't walk into a fresh relationship or a fresh date, quite frankly, and be like, so how many kids do you want to have? It's like, oh, first of all, I'm married, so I couldn't ask that, like, period. But you understand my point, right? Like, you're on a first date. Make sure that the question that you ask is appropriate for a first date. I gave you one, the one about the name. You could ask something like that. Another question that you could ask, if you're in a city that's different from maybe your primary city, or even if it is your primary city, ask that person something cool that you actually want to hear about. So what are your favorite food places in the city? And if they're a foodie, that question, now you have them in the races. Or ask them, like, what's your favorite thing to do in this city? Let them answer that. And then ask them for basically a listicle of, okay, so what are the ones that I should check out? Make sure you get this person talking about their interests, the things that they actually care about. And here is the thing, especially for my extroverts, everybody can do this better, but my extroverts, I know that you can do this even better. Become a deep listener. There is nothing in conversation, quite frankly, as sexy as we're going with like the romance first date theme, but there's nothing as compelling and attractive to human beings as somebody who listens. And when they write the review about, oh, this person remembering you, they're going to remember you with warm feelings in their body and like all of the things tingling in their headspace, because when somebody is listened to, they feel seen. And when somebody feels seen, they feel connected to the person on the other end. And this is the most important thing for any room you walk into with people that you don't know that well. Your job is not to network. Your job is to build relationships. And the way that you build relationships is by listening to what do we have in common, and also what's different, what's spicily different, right? That I could offer this person a new way of seeing that they might not have considered. But how do I build on the things that we have that are in common? And how do I speak to the things that they're actually interested in? Because that's how you're truly going to get somebody's attention. Networking is not actually what happens the first time you meet somebody in that room. You got it wrong. The most powerful networkers are people who understand the follow through happens afterwards. The follow through, and not afterwards in some creepy way of like, oh, what can you do for me? I said hi to you at the event. No, the follow through happens in genuinely building a relationship with somebody. And the way that you genuinely build a relationship with somebody, you gotta know what they care about. Like, duh. Go back to the analogy about like the dating. Would you go on like a third or a second date with somebody who showed zero interest in anything that you care about? And can they know what you care about without them listening to you? Like, that's it. Like that's okay, check please. So I want to hear from you in comments. Are you an introvert or an extrovert? Are you a mix of both? And what scares you more? Standing in front of a room full of strangers as an introvert or an extrovert? Or is it initiating that first conversation? Let me know in comments. I read every single comment. I'm so excited to see you here on the next video.